"Do you watch porn?" He says, "Yeah." I said, "Well, do you enjoy the guy with the little one doing her, or do you enjoy watching the guy with the big one doing it?" And he says, "Well, obviously you want to watch the guy with the big one." I said, "Well, you ain't that straight."
Oh, I guess so. What?
Hello, people of the world and far beyond. My name is Jay Finlayson. I'm a filmmaker, a man of ranting words, and being in quarantine has driven me over the edge, where I've developed more personalities than Dennis in the M. Night Shyamalan's 2016 film Split. I've probably pronounced his name wrong. I always pronounce stuff wrong. I've got some slight of a speech impediment. I hope it annoys you. I found myself talking to myself about absolute nonsense for things I've recently watched and thought, why not record yourself and upload to the internet to humiliate yourself? So that's what I'm doing. I thought about doing YouTube vlogs, but I've got a face for radio. I haven't got a voice for radio, but fuck it. I didn't have to get out of bed, and I didn't have to change from my PJs, so podcast will have to do.
Joe passed out condoms with his face on them.
Political condoms. Vote for me, or you need this because you're screwed.
The internet recently blew up with some memes of a bleached blonde gun-slinging hillbilly going by the name of Joe Exotic. And with being locked up indoors due to a global epidemic, I seem to have a lot of time on my hands to catch up on things I've wanted to watch. So I guess it was time to open up Netflix and blame Carol Baskin for what I had to indulge in. Tiger King is a strange docu-series that follows the trial of Joe Exotic. Not gonna lie, I thought it was a short documentary film, and I wasn't sure if I could commit to the full 7-episode series. During the first 2 episodes, I was skeptical about continuing, but a little man inside my head told me, "Hey mate, you've committed to watching 2 episodes so far, you can't give up now." By the 3rd episode, I was completely hooked on his character, and that is Joe Exotic. Rather envious of those who made this docu-series, as they've managed to document such an exotic character and an amazing storyline, with plots, twists, and complete madness.
I have my first 2 albums that I did. This is my first album, I Saw Tiger, and this is my second album, Starstruck.
I saw Tiger, now I understand. I saw Tiger, Tiger saw me.
The rest of the series unfolds the character and we know as Joe Exotic and many others who spend their time around him. You start to become emotionally invested in their lives and their opinions, their ups and downs, and the method of storytelling allows you to make your own judgment by who is right or wrong throughout the series. But it portrays most major characters as antagonists, whilst making the animals in the zoos as protagonists. But some will argue that the whole series completely forgets about the animals in the series. It's up to you. You can make your own judgment when you watch. The politics of the show develops a defiant, greedy stigma within those major characters, whereas you feel empathy of the side characters who have no choice but to be there for the animals and nowhere else to go. If it wasn't for the whole COVID-19 epidemic, this series would have been less successful, as the release of the show was just right for the stream service to keep its interest in subscribers. But we'll be covering this in a little moment. Without spoiling the series too much, I admit this is a must-watch series, and it's something for you to invest your time in. It's jam-packed with mystery, murder, comedy, and a brilliant soundtrack written by Joe himself, apparently. And with Jeremy Kyle off the air, you need something else to make your life feel better.
Don't forget my disclaimer. Everything is an opinion of mine. It's not attached to any company, any business, or anybody else. Like I really give a shit. Carol Baskin. I consider that bitch to be one of the biggest terrorists in the exotic animal world. Carol Baskin.
By the introduction and the previous review I just read out to this episode, you would have guessed it. This episode is about everyone's current favourite meme-generating Netflix series, Tiger King. Well, kinda. Released 20th of March 2020, directed by Eric Goody and Rebecca Chalkin. If I pronounced that right, I'm sorry if it's pronounced wrong. Chalkin. The series consists of 7 documentative episodes and a special episode hosted by Joe McHale, interviewing some of the contributors to see where they are with their lives now, Joe Exotic, and their thoughts about the docuseries itself. According to Netflix, Tiger King took approximately 5 years to film. Year of production started in 2014. Over the 5-year period, footage was edited into 7 45-minute episodes. Directors Eric Goody and Rebecca Chalkin stated we had a story that was unfolding every day, practically If someone was in the field, old footage was coming in from shooting 18 hours a day. Eric Goodyear, the devoted reptile conservationist, initially set out to investigate a famous Florida-based snake dealer. Just by chance, he and Chalkin came across a man pictured in episode 1 of a caged snow leopard in the back of his van in humid 100-degree weather. That set me out on this journey to really understand what is going on with people keeping big cats in this country, Goodyear explained during an interview. According to recent records, Tiger King was a massive hit within the first 10 days from its release date. The show had reached an audience of 34.3 million people. Oh tigers, it's 2020, we don't discriminate, which makes the show Netflix's most successful show to date. Oh no, Tiger King is a huge success. It is a prime example of timing is everything when it comes to release dates for film and TV shows. But did Tiger King save Netflix from its competitors? 4 days after the release of Tiger King on Netflix, on the 24th of March 2020, in the UK, Disney Plus was launched. 4 months and 12 days after initial launch in the US. In the United States, Disney reportedly amassed more than 1 million subscribers through pre-orders. And it's easy to see why Disney is throwing a lot of weight behind Disney Plus, offering hallmark franchise like Marvel and Star Wars, not to mention a treasure chest full of nostalgic films we all grew up on. Disney is a massive household name to many, and everyone knows what Disney is. Disney Plus had snagged an estimate of 24 million US subscribers as of the end of November 2019. And the strong debut for the Mouse House's new streaming package boosted cancellations among Netflix customers, according to a new Wall Street analyst, but this may be wrong. As for Netflix, at the end of November 2019, at the end of quarter 4, Netflix had 167.09 million active users. 61.04 million were US citizens, which is 1 million more than its last quarter. Statistics show that throughout the year in 2019, the US Netflix has a steady stream of users from 60.23 million to 60.62 million users between quarter 1 and quarter 3, whereas quarter 4 it had 61.04 million as I stated before. And that was US citizens, sorry. But quarter 4 statistics show in November approximately 1 million users signed up to Netflix US during Disney's launch in the United States. With 2020's active quarter, Netflix has now got to date 182.86 million worldwide users, with 69.97 million living in the US. Each quarter throughout the year, Netflix database has a steadily increasing rather than decreasing, and with stock shares staying the same, with a slight increase proves that Disney didn't make a dent to Netflix user base as predicted by analysts. According to Statistica.com, Netflix subscribers are a loyal bunch, with the majority reporting that they would keep Netflix even if the monthly subscription price increased, and subscribers will also state that they would continue using the service with ads with a wealth of content spanning multiple genres. And with a diverse catalogue of TV shows, movies and documentaries, Netflix appeals to a wide audience and constantly impresses users with its often binge-worthy original content. Whilst Disney has 50 million subscribers around the world to date, Disney is still behind in the world of demand streaming of film and TV. With the majority of films people already own on DVD, although Disney Plus originals are primarily marketed to children and young teenagers. So why isn't Disney marketing out as much to adults? Well, with other than showing TV shows that most fans would own as a DVD collection, such as Simpsons and Star Wars fans, which may suggest the reason not many are signing up to the subscription service. According to many Star Wars enthusiasts I have spoken to, they insist that Disney may have ruined the Star Wars franchise. That's their opinion. It's also your opinion and some of us opinions if they have or haven't ruined the Star Wars franchise. Some are turned off to the idea of Disney Plus originals aimed at adults, like The Mandalorian. The Mandalorian. I am so bad at pronouncing names of stuff.
I have spoken.
Disney has at least 18 original Disney Plus shows available, along with a mass library of nostalgic shows from when I was younger, such as Hannah Montana, Phineas and Ferb, Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, and That's So Raven. But other than these great names, they haven't released other great titles, such as Pair of Kings and Cody in the House. Another annoyance about Disney Plus is that they've got the Ice Age movies available on its servers, but they don't have Ice Age Dawn of the Dinosaurs, which is one of my favourite Ice Age films. So having an Ice Age marathon is merely impossible, along with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which isn't fully complete. You have a deal with Sony for Spider-Man, why not work something out with Sony to stream the Spider-Man films? Yes, Disney has a section in the Marvel category called the Spider-Verse, which shows the cartoons and shorts which were shown on Disney XD back in the day. So why are you doing this, Disney? Complete franchises, please, so I could have an Ice Age marathon like a man-child I am. As a current partial subscriber to both streaming services, I find my attention still being diverted to Netflix. Is there others out there that would agree with me? So I headed over to the Facebook group called The Geek Asylum, asking my fellow inmates about their preferences and reasoning behind which platform they prefer, and this is what they had to say. Harry Graham from the radio show Lights Camera Action, as presented on Sunderland's community radio Spark, stated, "Now Netflix just have a wider range, which is great, whilst Disney Plus is mainly good for really old school content and is probably hard to find on DVD and Blu-ray. This further one's a matter of preference, but Netflix has the upper hand of showing content that's coming to the service in the week, while Disney Plus doesn't. This is only because I'm doing a community radio show, and at the minute, due to lockdown and cinemas being shut, I'm providing listeners with new content available on the platforms. On the other hand, no, Disney Plus has the advantage of providing more nostalgic content that probably wasn't released since the days of VHS. Another Geek Asylum inmate, Nevs Coleman, feels Disney is responsible for borrowing too many stories and adding them to their intellectual property portfolio. The outright swiping of the plot of The Lion King from Tezuka is shocking. I would really rather that Disney didn't have to swear they did over the creative landscape and are prone to revisionist history on an Orwellian level. It was interesting to learn that Jack Kirby worked for Disney, to say the least. Netflix seem to be more interested in letting the creative types pursue their vision and giving a home to shows that might have disappeared otherwise due to lack of funding, like Black Mirror for example, or taking chances on ideas that seem unlikely on paper. Brackets, a musical teen comedy murder mystery social commentary show, or a multi-season explanatory of women in prison. And finally, another opinion from Charlie Lynch, another inmate of the Geek Asylum Facebook group. Love both. I'm not a huge Disney fan, but Star Wars and Marvel are big on my favourite lists. So that's a win for Clone Wars, The Mandalorian, and upcoming Kenobi series. On the flip side, Netflix has Brooklyn Nine-Nine, Breaking Bad, Peaky Blinders, and a ton of comedy movies I like. To expand my original comment, I think overall I get more value and watch time out of Netflix. But Disney Plus has just enough stuff I like that caters to my interests to make it more than worth the small cost I pay for it. I love the accessibility for both on mobile apps as I travel for work purposes, and it's an excellent way of passing time to watch shows on a tablet or even mobile phones. So did Tiger King really save Netflix?
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
Do you ever want to sit down and just talk to yourself and make it, legible to actually talk to yourself? Like what I'm doing now? Well, Anchor is your answer. Hey. basically, Anchor is just a website and or app, depends whichever device you're using, a laptop or your mobile phone, an iPad, whatever. You can download the Anchor app and create your own podcast. It has everything you need, ranging from distribution, like on Spotify or Apple Music or Apple Podcasts, and also it has interludes and other many features that will help you boost and create your own podcast. So all you need to do is just go and download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. That's ANCHOR.FM to get started. Well, I guess I should go back to my podcast now.
We now return to your regular programming.
No, it didn't, but creating great shows such as Tiger King may play a part in Netflix staying afloat in the streaming service industry. As statistics go, Disney is still behind on users and what's currently available, as they have a massive influence on keeping content family friendly. So to the day of this episode being published, Netflix is still the king of streaming and will continue to grow within the foreseeable future. So will Disney. Both are brilliant streaming services, don't get me wrong, and both have their charms and their audiences in mind. And with Disney being slightly cheaper than Netflix, you can get both services for less than £15 a month, depending on price plan from Netflix. So, in all sense, you can get the best of both worlds. I am currently writing a review on Disney Plus, which will soon be released on my journal at www.jayfinlayson.net. It may take a while, as the issue with writing and talking about Disney is that I am contracted with Disney, as I worked on a Disney film with them last year. Due to confidentiality reasons, I cannot inform you which film it is, but I am excited to see it on the big screen. So most stuff said about Disney during this podcast was used for educational material, so was the sounds used from their shows, and used as a comparison towards Netflix, along used for entertainment value. Also, over my journal, you'll be able to read the review I read out that was at the beginning of this episode. If you've got anything to say on this matter, you can communicate with me on social media like Facebook and Twitter. My handles are in the description of this podcast. As it's the end of my podcast, my first episode, I shall leave you with this information. In Russell Crowe's new film, he stars as a man that ate his wife, and is quite pleased with himself in. Glad he ate her. I amuse myself.